Now, normally we would obviously be doing this on Fat Samurai Guy's channel, but we are still fighting the good fight and keeping that movie dojo army train moving. And what better way to do it than with a versus episode? So, as I was saying, now normally during a Fat Samurai Guy's versus, you see more than just one big head box like myself. You see like anywhere between like 4 and 8. But people have lives, people are busy. So we're flying solo again tonight. And you want to know something? It is all good because we're still going to do, the only difference here is I have no one to vote against. So there's actually going to be no tie if I just outright pick the winner. But that wouldn't be fair. So you guys are going to decide the winner by the end of the stream. All right. There is a poll up on the community section of the ETN channel for you guys to make your vote. Now, to be fair, we probably know who's going to win because we all know that on this channel, there's a bunch of kaiju fans. But look, I don't make the rules. Okay. This is just how things turned out. Now, I'm pretty sure if we did this on Fat Samurai Guy's channel, I'm pretty sure if Fat Samurai Guy was also doing this particular episode, I'm sure the outcome would probably be different on his channel. So maybe that's something he can, you know, maybe that's something he could investigate or look into when upon his return. But I already know pretty much what the outcome is going to be here. So I'm going to quickly go through these 4 movies. We're going to discuss them. Yeah, but before we do, I have something I want to share real quick. So there was another Movie Dojo Army member who sent me a message that he wants that I told him, you know, if you can't make it to the stream, that's fine. Just send me the message, record it on your phone, and I'll put it on the stream so Fat Samurai Guy can see it. So I'm going to play this. This is from, many of you probably know him. He's very well known in the dojo army, Mr. Kevin Lambert. So I'm going to play that right now for so that way Fat Samurai Guy can see this. And let me just make sure that I get to set this up real quick and also put the volume up, or maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just too loud. But all right, so I'm gonna play this real quick for Fat Samurai Guy, and then we're gonna keep the ball rolling. So here we go. All right.
Hello there, everybody at Entertainment Talk Nation, all of the nation followers, and of course everybody to the Movie Dojo Army.
There you go.
Dojo Army for life. I just wanted to send out a quick message to the Fat Samurai Guy and of course Lady Phat Blood also, that I'm so sorry about your tremendous loss, but just know that the Movie Dojo Army is here to support. We are always going to be here to have your back, and we look forward to your return when you are ready. Don't rush back now though, come back when you are ready. And also Rob, thank you tremendously for doing this on behalf of Fat Samurai Guy. You know, it amazes me the kindness of people, and you know, everything that people have said, all of the amazing messages for Fat Samurai Guy. And thank you, Rob, for doing this to give the fans and to give, you know, the supporters and the members of the Movie Dojo Army an opportunity to just support and be there for Fat Samurai Guy and Lady Phat Blood. So thank you for that, Rob. And once again, I would just like to send my condolences to Fat Samurai Guy, Lady Phat Blood, and the Movie Dojo Army is here for life. We have to support, and you know where we are when you need us, and we'll be ready, and we can't wait for your glorious return. But until then, take care, and thinking of you. Bye now.
All right, awesome. Very, very sweet message from Mr. Kevin Lambert. And yeah, you know, for those of you who don't know, because I did see someone in chat before we started curious as to why my banner is Fat Samurai Guy and my profile picture and all that. So basically, I'm just trying to show some support for Phat Samurai Guy. Unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, his father passed away, and he's decided to take some time off from YouTube. So I spoke with him a couple of weeks ago, and received his blessing to kind of play as a fill-in for him. Trying to get his channel members and his subscribers over to here to continue viewing content. I'm doing my best to fill in, but it's not as, obviously it's not nearly as fun or entertaining as it is on his channel, because, usually he gathers a good sizable group. And while we've had some people on here, Sci-Fi Century's been here last week. Anubis was here twice last week. So, but outside of that, a lot of the other people that normally show up to his streams, they're unable to make it for whatever reason. So, I'm trying to keep his train going until he gets back to the best of my ability. And I'm just doing that because I know that sometimes, and believe me, I know this from experience, when people take time off from their channel, it's not the algorithm that's the issue. You can get that back the minute you do 2 or 3 videos a week again when you come back. It's maintaining the interest of the people who watch the channel. You know what I mean? And while it's difficult to obviously get his normal crowd over to here, we have had quite a number of Movie Dojo Army viewers on our streams. To my surprise, usually it's tough to do something like that. So every little bit helps in my eye, and for me, it's more than worth it. Phat Samurai Guy has been a great friend, and we've kind of been collaborating for a little while now. I mean, I consider him a friend, and I also feel like when you have 2 channels that kind of work together, you're basically putting yourselves on. You know what I mean? It's like, I go to his channel, so I'm being exposed to his viewers. When he comes to my channel, he's exposed to my viewers, and basically it's beneficial for both channels. So it's always good to, I feel, show appreciation when somebody puts you on like that. And as you can see, the other thing I really, really love about Phat Samurai Guy is that he's kind of like a central hub for a lot of different channels, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter the size. I mean, the guy's had Andy Signor on his live streams. That guy has about almost 200,000 subscribers. And then he's had a lot smaller channels on his live stream. And he really doesn't, and it's not very common on YouTube, you know what I mean? It's not very common that somebody is open to host people on their stream or on their channel and not caring what the size of their channel is. Usually when certain channels get to a certain level, they don't want to host smaller channels, stuff like that. But he doesn't think that way. He just wants people that are going to come in, give in their thoughts, share their love for movies and entertainment, things like that. So when someone like that's rare, it's just my way of showing appreciation for the kind of way, not only for him as a person, but the way he runs his channel. And you've seen, he's had a lot of people on his channel. I mean, I remember some streams where I wasn't able to make it, and I would be watching like later, and there's like 9 people on the stream. And because of that, I've been able to learn more about other channels that I didn't know existed. One in particular, we got Eric, the Asian movie enthusiast, who is a great YouTube channel. He's actually been on my stream, and he comes to my streams to watch every now and then. So when you have a network like that, it's very rare to have a YouTuber that kind of runs as a central hub for different channels of all sizes. And I just think that it's a great thing. And, so this is kind of my way of not only showing my appreciation for the way he conducts his business, but also he's just a great guy to be around. He's just a great guy to talk to. And, I just want to help him out, period. There's nothing more, nothing less. So, all right. So we are going to start with Freddy versus Jason, because I absolutely adore this movie. I adore this movie. Number one, there's nothing scary about it, and they know it. Number two, even the kills in this movie are funny. The movie is just pure gold entertainment. It does not take itself seriously. It is very self-aware about all the shit that's going on. This movie, for me, was such a joy to watch in the theaters. And I remember this being a big deal when it came out. It does, box office wise, I mean, obviously it's not going to be doing billions, you know what I mean? But I remember opening weekend when I went to go see this in the theater was packed. And I remember people in the audience were cheering for their, selected movie killer. You know, it was about split down the middle for Jason and Freddy in the theater when I saw it. I personally am a Freddy guy. But this movie was amazing. And when I say even the kills were funny, I immediately think of two kills that come to mind. One of them is in the beginning when Jason first gets to the house where all the kids are, and the guy who's just like over the top deliberately being an asshole. Like, you got guys who are assholes, but this guy was like such in try hard mode to be an asshole. It was kind of ridiculous. So you could tell the movie really wanted you to hate him because he wasn't going to be around very long. And sure enough, like, he gets killed, but the way he gets killed made me laugh. Like, basically, Jason comes in, he stabs him in the back, and then he takes the freaking bed and cracks it in half. So the guy's legs are like on his back up here. I don't know why. I thought that was so funny, especially his face when he was dead. He was like, I loved it. I loved it. That immediately told you that this movie was going to be crazy. And it was. It was absolutely crazy. A crazy joy to watch. And of course, the other thing that makes this movie so entertaining is that suddenly Freddy out of nowhere is like a black belt in 7 different versions of martial arts. He starts doing all these crazy moves like he's coming out of the Matrix, and it's just hilarious. All the while doing his normal Freddy things with his quips and his jokes. Oh man, he was just and it's funny, like, Jason obviously doesn't talk. So Jason, being the, I guess, serious killer, was just perfect for Freddy to kind of feed off of, because obviously Jason had no reaction to all the things that Freddy would be saying. It was such a good movie. There's nothing about this movie I don't like. I absolutely adore this movie. The other funny kill that I was going to talk about was, this one comes towards the end. And I forget the girl's name. She was part of Destiny's Child. Is it Kelly Rowland? Something like that? Well, anyway, she does something. I think she hits Jason in the shoulder or stabs him or something. Jason knocks her like halfway across the universe. And she hits this tree so hard, her body contorts and shakes in such a funny way. Like, I wish, you know what? Maybe I can find it. I know it's a bit of a gamble to show it, but man, I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, she hits the tree and she's like, and she just contorts in such a way that makes me crack up. I mean, the kills in this movie are so funny. You know, the white guy with the long hair, he gets that worm shoves itself down his mouth. Oh my God. There it is. Hold on. I got it here. I think I got it. Oh, so check this shit out. This is what I was told. I did find it. It's easy to find because, you know, this is a big deal back in the day because she was just coming off of Freddy. Just coming off of her Destiny Child thing, and this is when Beyonce went to do her own thing. So yeah, this is it right here. I gotta show this. Obviously, PhatSamuraiGuy gonna have to probably edit the stuff out when he gets to the when he gets to this part of the stream. But I mean, I gotta show this because you guys have to see. Here it is. Check this shit out. This is so funny. You see? I mean, come on. I didn't put the volume up because I don't want to. But you see how body's like. I mean, the kills in this movie are absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Jason didn't like that. Jason said, "Yo, don't bully him. We may be fighting, but he's still my boy." Now, look, man. Plot wise, look, no one gives a shit. this is just a great movie altogether. They did put somewhat of a plot in there. If you consider it interesting, that's fine. I didn't really care about the plot. I just wanted to see Freddy and Jason go at it, and that's what I got. And yeah, right. You see, I'm telling you, man, it's freaking hilarious. So, so this one is a tough one to be on the list because I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. There's nothing about this movie I don't like. I know if I Crash Test Dummy is right. So, yeah, there's good stuff there. Yeah, awesome. So, next in line, we have Alien versus Predator. Now, we did speak about Alien, well, Predator in particular, but we did touch on this movie quite a bit last week, actually, when we were reviewing Predator last Wednesday night. And look, I'm a big Predator fan. Like, Alien's cool, but Predator is my choice of Alien. You know, I know that sounds kind of weird. Predator is my choice of Alien. I just like the look. I like the gadgets. I like the weapons and everything about Predator. Even the lore. It just is really good. Alien versus Predator was a dream for many people. And I remember the first time I saw that they were making this movie, I was in the theater to watch another movie. I don't remember what the movie was. What I do remember is seeing the poster for Alien versus Predator. It was the first time I had any clue or indication they were making a movie. And the hype within my loins grew to a tremendous level. All right? It was insane. I actually probably still feel bad for whoever I was dating that night because they probably got 267 pounds worth of excitement pounded into them for a good 25 minutes. Okay? That's how excited I was for this movie. All right? Obviously, we all know by now, many years later, it didn't quite turn out the way we had hoped. Yes, whoever wins, we lose was the tagline. Very true. And I look back and I think to myself, the problem wasn't really how they looked. I even still get excited when they first do that shot where they turn to each other. It's very cool. In fact, I remember in the theaters when the Predator, because remember, this is like opening night. So people, even though people were upset with the PG-13 rating, they still were expecting, people still had high expectations. So I never forget, opening night, was in the theater, and the minute that the Predator was pierced by the alien and the music starts building up and he starts turning the Predator around to face it, let me tell you something. You think like Endgame, all the Avengers coming together is like the greatest cheer you've seen in the movie theater? Believe it or not, no. See, some of you guys weren't born when this shit was happening. Or some of you guys were very young. I still, to this day, remember the reaction in the theater when the alien stabbed the Predator and they both interacted for the first time on the silver screen. The guys, I kid you not, it rivals, if not even in instances, surpasses any Avengers Endgame reaction in the theater that I've seen on YouTube. I kid you not. I kid you not. This is the potential of these two IPs being on screen together. It amazes me that Hollywood has been able to fuck this up, not once, but twice. With that said, there are still many elements about this movie that I love. The Alien and the Predators both look phenomenal, number one. Okay? Particular more, and it depends what kind of alien you like. If you like the shiny dome aliens, then that's what you got in this movie. If you like the rigid, hollow head aliens, then you probably wouldn't like these. Because I know there's fans like that. There's fans who like the more rigid, hollow dome, and there's people who like the shiny dome. I personally am a shiny dome lover, but I don't hate the hollow dome, the hollow square dome aliens. You know what I mean? Now you're gonna see they're gonna make a cartoon now. You know, Alien and Predators going to school together or some shit like that. Yeah, it's true, but from what you can see, I can watch Alien vs Predator anytime. I still remember seeing it in theater. Yeah, it's not horrible. The problem is it's a complete downgrade in terms of what both these movies normally accomplish, like in their respective own titles. For example, one of the things that happens in this movie is the facehuggers, obviously they get an opportunity to impregnate a bunch of people. The time from impregnation all the way up to the time that the aliens pop out is quite rapid, you know? I remember that being a big complaint. Violence, right? So after seeing the movie, I didn't think the PG-13 rating was a bad rating, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, once you see real human blood, once you see human guts and all that, that's when you get your R rating. That doesn't account for aliens and monsters in movies, right? So a PG-13 still would have been fine for this movie because, quite honestly, yeah, of course we want the occasional human death, but my main thing, the thing I wanted to see the most were the alien and the predators fighting. The problem with this movie is that the story is very bad. Too much human involvement. To the point that one of the characters in the movie, who is probably the one that's least equipped to survive this situation, because she's basically a mountain climber, not only does she survive, she actually makes friends with the predator. Now, I get it. We all know that predators do not attack. They're hunters, right? If they don't consider you a threat, they won't do anything to you. So I'm not saying that the predator should have killed her. I think the predator should have been more indifferent to her. And I do think she should have been the casualty of an alien. I don't think it would have been such a bad thing to have a movie end with little to no dialogue if you take all the humans out, and then maybe do the ending to be like the whaling companies finds all the casualties and they discover, and you know, you can bring in the narrator later after the alien and predator fight is all over and done with, you know. But it wouldn't have been bad to have the last 10 minutes of the movie just be predator and alien. I also think they killed off 2 of the 3 predators way too fast. I mean, 2 of the predators died right there in that first encounter. Now, it makes the hero predator look like a badass, but I would have liked to have seen more aliens go down in the beginning and then make the predators lose because they were overwhelmed by numbers. Because that's the impression the movie gave during one of the flashbacks when there's 3 predators on top of a pyramid blasting the shit out of a swarm of alien coming up a pyramid. Meanwhile, these 2 predators get their asses handed to them within the first 2 minutes of the encounter. So it's a movie that has great spots. It's a movie that is disappointing only because you saw the potential within the movie, but it wasn't met. It wasn't fully established. It wasn't fully met. It didn't fully come to fruition. It didn't, as a seed germinates. You know what I mean? It did not blossom into what it should have been, you know, that kind of shit. So great movie in certain parts. Overall mediocre. Overall disappointing in some areas, but I still watch it. It's still a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't even know if I want to call it a guilty pleasure. It's still a movie I like to watch. It's just when I watch it, it reminds me of what could have been, and what could have been should have been a better movie, basically. So, you know. All right. Moving on to the 2 big boys in this conversation. That was awesome. I liked the backstory they gave to the aliens and predators. Oh yeah, it was a good backstory. But you know, it didn't work out. You know, the movie was going fine until after the alien versus predator encounter. Like, I didn't mind the whole setup with the whaling company and the military. I didn't mind all that. In fact, I loved the build up in the beginning because, you know, you're getting the predators are there. They're quiet. That shit is all cool. It starts going downhill when they get into the when they're going to the pyramid, and they get inside the pyramid, and then suddenly now they're stealing Predator artifacts. The alien is on this contraption. Like, she's just been sitting there, the queen, for like all these years, being like what they call that? Oh, I love you. Being what's that word? Like a fucking like a Handmaid's Tale, you know? Fuck. They should have put one of those. They should have put her in a Handmaid's Tale outfit. That's basically what she was. She was like the broodmare for the fucking for the pyramid. So it just started going downhill there. You know, everything leading up to it was okay. It was pretty good actually. So, all right, now let's talk about Batman versus Superman. Now, look, I'm going to be very careful here because I have spoken about this movie so much. I feel like I'm going to be sounding like a broken record here, so I'm going to keep it brief because we have discussed this on Fat Samurai Guy's channel before. I have made my points very clear about how I feel about this movie. I know there's a lot of DC lovers out there. I know there's a lot of DC lovers on ETN, and I know there's a lot of DC lovers on ETN that hate when I talk about DC movies because 9 times out of 10, I am shitting on DC movies. Not all the time. I feel personally, I am very, and for the record, I've been shitting on Marvel too lately because they're not exactly delivering the goods. But that's you know, we'll talk about. I guess we could have done Civil War too. Technically, it's Iron Man versus Captain America, but not as much. But anyway, well, actually, Captain America and Iron Man fight more than Batman versus Superman fight in this movie. Actually, that's kind of true. Actually, that is true. Captain America and Iron Man, they fight longer than Batman and Superman. You know, I didn't even think about that all this time. It's not even called Iron Man versus Captain America. It's called Civil War, obviously loosely based on the comic. But how sad is that? That a movie that's actually a Captain America movie has more Iron Man fighting Captain America than Batman versus Superman has Batman versus Superman. Like, I mean, what? What? What are we doing? All right, I mean, that I just opened a whole nother can of worms. We'll discuss this some other time. But let's talk about Batman versus Superman. Now, we're not specifically targeting the extended edition or the regular edition. It doesn't matter one way or the other. Most of it, I understand that the extended edition gives more context to the movie, and which is very true, I want to add. But in classic Zack Snyder fashion, it also adds a day and a half to the movie. And, you know, whether or not, of course, I'm being funny. I'm joking. Not nearly as long as, like, you know, Justice League. But the point I'm trying to make with this movie, my problem solely lies in the way it ends, in the ending portion of the movie. You know, I have my personal gripes with DC not giving enough limelight to their other heroes. I know they're trying it more now than they have in the past, but they're still a very Batman-heavy company. I mean, we had Man of Steel, and while I love the movie, and I know others who love the movie, it was more than a mild success at the box office, but it wasn't a flop. But there were a lot of people who didn't like it because they felt that, you know, Clark Kent was a little too brooding. I felt that while I love the classic, charmy, happy-go-lucky, America First Superman, I always will. I'd like this grounded version of Superman in DC. This is one of the few Zack Snyder movies that I do love because I feel like, and I feel maybe he should concentrate on Superman. He seems to have a better understanding of what it would be like to be someone like Superman in a world like we live in. You know what I mean? The way people react to him, the way his father wanted to hide him from the world with very good reason. The last thing you want to do is have the world know about your son being like this and driving him up the wall his entire life to a point where he just turns into a villain. And I think there's some areas of the movie that people fail to see that's kind of the point that Zack Snyder was trying to make with Man of Steel, which is why Clark was bruising because who wants to be alone, right? I mean, yeah, he's got his family, but you know, as he got older and as he started showing more of his powers, he was basically a loner. You know, who wants to listen to their dad who says that no matter what happens, you got to hide your powers, even at the expense of other lives? That's rough. You know what I mean? That's rough. And but anyway, going into this movie, I was very, very against the idea of having this movie simply because I wanted to see Superman. So I already went in with a bad attitude. All right, I was already. Now, that had nothing to do with Ben Affleck. I think Ben Affleck was a fantastic Batman, and it's sad that we did not get to see him in his own trilogy, especially after what I just saw with the Batman and what Pattinson did. Whoa. And I like Pattinson, but woo, that Batman. We'll leave that for another day. And not only that, I don't want to get into the Batman because Phat Samurai Guy, I know when he comes back, that's probably going to be the first movie he's going to discuss. Anyway, so it had nothing to do with that. In fact, I even love the opening scene of this movie when Batman is running through the city and you're seeing things from his eyes. Love that. That was great. My problem with this movie stems down, and an ending can really fuck up a movie for anyone. My problem with this movie is you're forcing in two. Now, I always only ever talk about one, but essentially you're forcing in two major, successful, popular, well-liked, well-loved comic books into one movie. It doesn't work. You're doing the death of Superman, the last 15 minutes of the movie, and you're doing a shoe-in of The Dark Knight Returns. These are two comic books that deserve their own movie. Not to get shoved into the pornographic visions of Zack Snyder and his Snyderverse and all his hardcore Snyder cunt followers. Okay? When I saw the death of Superman in this movie, I was so mad. Now, I do not take these things too seriously too much. I don't. It's entertainment. I'm a big boy now. You know what I mean? I don't buy comics anymore. You know what I mean? And all that stuff. But I like to escape every now and then. You know, I take care of my responsibilities, take care of my wife, my family. I work, pay the bills, do all that good stuff. When that's all said and done, I want to regress a little bit on the inside, okay? So yeah, I didn't like this movie. I loathe this movie. You do not, and I'm not even a huge DC fan. I'm more of a Marvel fan than I'm a DC fan. But I can appreciate beautiful comic storytelling when I see it. And for them to take those two comics and try to mash them into one movie and then take my favorite DC superhero and make his ass get erased at the end of the movie on some old, oh yeah, we'll just do the death of Superman in 5 minutes. What? You're going to do the death of Superman in 5 minutes? Oh, and just for the shit of it, let's throw in Wonder Woman. And then people wonder why I shit on DC the way I do. I mean, for people who say they're DC fans, do you even give a fuck about what they did to these two comics in the movie? Huh? So yeah. Actors, not the issue. Action scenes are great. Doomsday, looks like something God shit out and dropped on Earth and said, let there be life. Like God was just having one of those days where he just wanted to be funny. And he dropped a little turd on Earth and said, let there be life. And that was Doomsday. Right? Am I wrong? Look at him. Look at him and look at his powers. Am I wrong? It's like a walking, living, breathing God turd. Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles looks better than Doomsday. Not that much better. They look like little dickheads. And when I say dickheads, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean actual dickheads. A Zod turd, if you will. True that. Zod turd. That's right. Freddy vs. Jason was epic to me. I loved it. Don't forget, guys, to vote in the poll on the community portion of the ETN channel. We all know who's going to win, but that doesn't mean your vote doesn't count. I mean, it does count. It just counts towards the loss because we all know who's winning. All right, so that is mine. Batman versus Superman, in all honesty, they should have saved that concept. They should have done Superman 2, introduce Bruce Wayne, and then they should have done Batman The Dark Knight Returns with Ben Affleck in his own movie, and then use that movie to transition into Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. But this is why I'm not in Hollywood. I make too much sense. Yeah, here you go, DC.
Go fuck yourself.
All right, moving on. All the Batman scenes are the only best part. Yeah. Huh? You're too good for Hollywood, Rob. Oh, man. Alien versus Predator is the best versus movie. Hey, man. Assassin, a lot of people believe that. I love Alien versus Predator. But now that brings us to Godzilla versus Kong. And oh boy, are we going to have a fun time with this, because I love a good versus movie. Obviously, I love Freddy versus Jason. There are many things about Alien versus Predator I like. Hey, look, even though scene in Batman versus Superman where they fought for 2.5 seconds was pretty good. 3-hour movie and they get to fight for 2 minutes. It was a good 2 minutes. Even though it looks like Batman stole the Ironmonger suit and did a little bit of grafting to it. I had to sneak another one in there at the DC fanboys. It looked like his first suit coming out of the cave in Afghanistan, okay? Batman's suit looked like he was walking through the desert, found the first Iron Man suit, and was like, whoa, this is a great idea. Fucking kidding. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
All right. It does, though. It does. It really does. It really does, okay? It's like Iron Man. It's like Bruce went up to Iron Man and was like, look, I have as much money as you. Let me buy some of this tech off of you. And then Tony was like, not a great plan. And then he says, you know what, Bruce? I'll tell you what. I have a prototype that I've been working on that I will give to you for 50% off. Now, it doesn't look that great, but I'm telling you right now, I know you're a smart guy and that you can put this to make it into a great batsuit. And he picks up a bag full of his first Iron Man suit from Afghanistan. Piece of shit that was blown into bits. And he chucks it at Bruce and he says, there you go, guy. Have a good, knock yourself out. And Bruce is all excited, like, yeah, I can take out Superman with this. Yeah. And then you see him start making the suit. He's all excited. It's just a fucking prototype piece of shit Iron Man suit that he first made. And everything he had after that was better. Meanwhile, it's like Bruce is rocking like a DeLorean from '85, and Tony just came out with like the most recent Lamborghini Diablo. You know what I'm saying? And Bruce, and the sad part is Bruce is like, yo, this is the shit, man. Look at his car. And Tony's like, Okay, I know this is supposed to be a versus. I can't help myself. All right, Godzilla versus Kong. Now, look, it's probably not fair to do this on this channel because this is a kaiju channel. So chances are Godzilla versus Kong is going to win this. Again, I'm not picking the winner. I can't. I am here by myself. You know, I got no backup. Been inviting these motherfuckers to this for like 2 weeks and everybody's quiet. I'm done. I'm going to pull a Thanos on this shit. All right? I'm doing it myself, motherfucker. Okay? I hate constantly inviting people places and then they don't say anything or they keep rejecting. After a while, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. I tried PhatSamuraiGuy. Just, you know, people are busy. So. And I hate asking more than once, even though I've done it twice. He's done, except he never checks that the Facebook thread. Well, what happened? Oh, but you see, everybody posts after. All right. Let me finish this one, Anubis, if you still want to come on. Well, Anubis, but not you, Anubis. I don't mean you. You've obviously been coming through. I'm talking about some of the other ones. But you've been coming through. Actually, you've come through more than everyone. All right. Godzilla versus Kong. Now, people might say, well, of course Godzilla versus Kong is going to win. It's the most recent movie, and that might very well be true. That might very well be true. But what Godzilla versus Kong does is almost the same thing Freddy versus Jason does. It doesn't take itself seriously. It gives you the bare bones basic plot. But what it does give you is what you want to see, which is Godzilla versus Kong. Not 2 minutes fighting in the rain in a hand-me-down Iron Man suit and versus Superman, okay? Not two predators dying in the first minute of battle, making them look like complete buffoons and paperweights. No, you get Godzilla and Kong going hand to hand, and you see it more than once. And the fights are not that short. I mean, that sequence where they first met on the battleship, from the moment Godzilla arrives to the moment he's gone, is about a good 7 to 8 minutes. And I know what you're thinking, well, that's not very... Well, the whole sequence itself is about almost 20 minutes. The minute you see the ship, the minute they cut to that scene to the minute they cut away, the sequence overall is about 15 or 20 minutes. But the battle between Godzilla and Kong is about a little less than half of that. And that's not very common. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, but what about the cutaways? Probably one of the most lame excuses I've ever seen in a movie, because a movie with cutaways? Who does that? Except pretty much every movie. You know, I mean, look at the old Toho movies. I've argued this before. Go watch a Toho movie and tell me there's no cutaways to human action, okay? Tired of that excuse. Come on, let's keep it real, all right? I get it. You just want to see more Godzilla versus Kong or more monster battles. I get it. But want in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one weighs more. Okay? All right. Anyway. But, no, truly, this was the movie that, in terms of, not only did you get Godzilla vs. Kong, but this is what I like about Legendary and the Monsterverse. They actually do listen to the fans. After the first movie, the fans said they wanted more monster action. They said, okay, good. More monster action in the second movie. Second movie, they got more monster action, but then you could hardly see it. So then the fans are like, we want more day fights. So what did they do? They got a great day fight. And they got a night fight they could see. Put those two together, you have a successful monster movie. Why? Because you could, not only because it was Godzilla versus Kong, you could see the fights. There was a day fight. That's really what fans want. And you don't want to know something that's what general audience members want too? I know there's some ultra hardcore kaiju fans out there that want this captivating, almost Nolan-esque type story for a kaiju film. Look, it's not going to happen, okay? It's just not going to happen, all right? It's very rare that you can make a kaiju movie in the likes of Godzilla 54. We spoke about this yesterday during the stream. Somebody asked me, hey, why is it that someone like Godzilla can stand the test of time, but not stuff like Alien? And the reason I told them is because the movie had a cultural impact, where movies like Alien and Predator don't. This is one of the reasons why, as much as we might get exhausted from comic book movies, Marvel has had a cultural impact. And this is why, even when their movies are long and gone from the theaters, there's going to remain a certain level of popularity to them that they can always be rebooted. If a movie or any kind of entertainment-related IP, be it music, be it movies or anything, if they have a cultural impact, they last forever. Think about music. Michael Jackson, cultural impact. The dude's music is still played today. People still love him today. All right? If any sort of entertainment related type of music, movies, whatever, if it has a cultural impact, it stands the test of time. It always will. And all you got to do is look back on certain, artists, certain movies, to see that. This is why Godzilla stands the test of time. This movie, though, is just all out fun, all out brawl. It delivered on the trailer and the TV commercials. And while it was no surprise to the hardcore kaiju fan, the Mechagodzilla reveal at the end was a big surprise for many moviegoers who didn't see it coming. And very clever writing, because it gives Kong fans a reason to cheer, because Kong was the one who defeated Mechagodzilla. And although that was very predictable, I mean, I predicted that basically a year ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, Godzilla's going to win and Kong's going to save Godzilla. Why? Because you can't have King Kong go out like that. You're going to alienate half the fan base. I've always said that. So it was very easy to predict. If you know that Mechagodzilla's coming, which many of us did, it's very easy to predict that Kong was going to be the one to take him down. And when you consider just how much Godzilla put Mechagodzilla over in that fight, it makes Kong look like a lot stronger than he probably should be. Because obviously Godzilla abused him like he was a stepchild in their fight. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. That's what makes this movie so fun. It's actually a bit of a culture thing. It's not going to be a cultural impact, but it's a cultural meeting of the minds, because America is, I would say, half Godzilla, half Kong. You know what I mean? Kong is an American monster. There will always be people who are going to love Kong more than Godzilla. Godzilla's popularity over the years has gotten a lot bigger here in the States, especially since 2014. And obviously in Japan, Godzilla is obviously, that's their home monster. So you have many different people going into this movie for many different reasons, which makes it a great thing. The sheer popularity of this title, I mean, I could see it easily just from my streams during that time. Many of you know, many of you there from ETN, I was getting 2,000 people plus in my streams for every Godzilla vs. Kong stream I did leading up to the movie. Which goes to, and I've never had that many people in a MonsterVerse stream before that. That goes to show you just how interested people were in this movie. Add into the fact that you could also reward Godzilla vs. Kong for being one of those movies that helped pretty much end the whole COVID thing. Godzilla vs. Kong, Spider-Man, even now the Batman proves that if you make a good film that people want to see, COVID or no COVID, they're going to come to the theater. So in terms of how it stands against the other three films, I mean, this one is just, it's on the same grand scale as Batman versus Superman. Obviously, Alien versus Predator and Freddy versus Jason in terms of scale cannot compete with these two movies. But in terms of overall fun, straight to the point, and actually getting action from the two title characters, yeah, I personally would have to give it to Godzilla vs. Kong, because it delivers in all the gravitas that Batman versus Superman brought, but it also delivers on the actual verses of the movie. You get to see Godzilla and Kong fight for a good chunk of the movie, where in Batman versus Superman, these two guys fight for what, like half of 30 seconds. So, I mean, we're talking about versus movie, the best among these four. You know what I mean? And if I had to put my money and invest it in watching a title where you're going to get the two characters clashing together, I'm going to go, and you still get the big spectacle of action and AAA movie going, then yeah, I got to go with Godzilla versus Kong, because you get more of them on the screen than you do of Batman versus Superman fighting each other. So, and their team up was badass. I mean, for all the people who were complaining about the idea of Godzilla and Kong teaming up, everybody seemed to love when they finally did. And I think a lot of Godzilla fans liked it because they saw their boy getting curb stomped into buildings and thought, okay, this has to end. And the only reason it ended was because Kong showed up. So, you know, I think they did a good job balancing. Of course, I always mess around with my the Kong fanboys, but that's because they're so easy to rile up. You know what I mean? But yeah, so those are the 4 movies. I think they're all great and fun in their own right. And I understand why people love Batman versus Superman. I have my reasons for not liking it as much. And it's not to say the whole movie's bad. It's just that force feeding of 2 comics puts such a bad taste in my mouth. It really drives me up a wall. Freddy versus Jason is just so much fun. Yeah, they do trigger easily. Okay. And even Alien versus Predator just kind of gives you a little taste of what could have been in certain aspects of the movie. But yeah, so we are going to chill for a few minutes. We're going to take a look at the let's see where the voting is right now. But yeah, it looks like Godzilla vs. Kong is the winner of this versus. Honestly, both fan bases were embarrassing during the lead up to Godzilla vs. Kong. It's very true. And that's why I kind of have fun with both of them. I was so bad. So remember, I had some streams where I'd be talking shit about Kong, and then I had some streams where I'm like, but don't get cocky, Godzilla fans. Kong can whoop that ass. Damn, no love for Alien versus Predator. Yeah, well, to be fair, this is a very heavily biased kaiju channel. Most of the people here are kaiju fans. And I'm sure if you put this vote up on PhatSamuraiGuy's channel, it'll probably be very different. So hopefully he does it. You know, when he comes back, he should at least put the vote up and see what people say. All right, but anyway, guys, we are going to call it here. I want to thank you guys all for coming tonight. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully, PhatSamuraiGuy could get some use out of this stream and cut it up and then use it for whatever he needs to use it for. And PhatSamuraiGuy, if you're watching, I hope you come back soon. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Get back to us soon, because as you see, I can't hold it down like you can, but I'm doing my best. Hey, Nicholas. Sorry, I was just ending it. Phat Samurai, we love you. Yep, there you go. Mechagodzilla lost because the kid threw the soda on the electric board. Bad story that people want to ignore. No, I agree, it's bad. It doesn't make the movie not fun, so shut the fuck up. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.